Burnout is real, so you better be prepared for it. Every high performer experiences burnout at least once in their lives, so knowing how to identify it puts you in a position to overcome it. Burnout is defined as a state of emotional, physical, or mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or excessive stress. It's characterized by feelings of exhaustion, detachment from work, and a reduced sense of accomplishment. Building a successful life has its challenges, but burnout doesn't have to be one of them. In this video, I'm going to share tips on how to recover from burnout so that you can get your spark back. And if you're new here, hi girl, my name is Marcella Christina, and on this channel, I teach women how to become their highest selves. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe. Now let's dive right into it. To recover from burnout, the first thing that you need to do is you need to stop what you are doing. You really have to acknowledge that you are burnt out. Now, this can be challenging to do, whether it's your first time experiencing this or whether you've experienced it before. But typically, feelings of exhaustion signal burnout. If you love the work that you do, or if you have a passion project that you love doing, but for the past couple of weeks or months, it's been really hard to stay motivated, then chances are you might be experiencing burnout. And know that you haven't done anything wrong. You might have gotten so wrapped up in the process and focused on executing at a high level. Because oftentimes passionate people, creative people, and high achievers don't want to take breaks because they're so inspired by the work that they're doing. But the problem is that just isn't sustainable. At some point, you will need to take a break, and your body, mind, and spirit will need rest. The healthy thing to do is to plan these breaks in advance and to stick to them. Because if not, your body is going to force you into a break, which leads to burnout. So you need to have the courage to take a break. A little secret about high achievers and high performers is that they're afraid. They're afraid of failure. And in fact, they're so afraid of failure that outrunning failure leads them into the greatest realms of success. And while a healthy dose of this is actually a great thing, too much of this will ruin you. Because instead of focusing on yourself and your own needs, you're too busy focusing on outrunning failure. And so any day that you're not pursuing success, you feel that failure is catching up on you. And this creates inner conflict because now you're not able to trust yourself. You're focused on the external instead of the internal. You're focused on outrunning things instead of running to your own pace. And this is why you need courage. Because when you're courageous enough to take a break, you're saying to yourself, I am in control. I am in control of my destiny. I can stop when I need to stop. I can rest when I need to rest. Failure will not catch up to me because failure is not chasing me. The only thing chasing me is success. You really need to adopt this mindset not only to recover from burnout, but to become successful in general. I think it would be safe to assume that you want to be successful not only for a day or two, but for a long time. Dare I say forever. And since forever is a long time, you need to have healthy systems in play. You can't go forever. You will need a break at some point, and you need to have the courage and the confidence to do so. And when you're taking this break, make sure that you're in a comfortable space. Taking a break is not just about detaching from what you're currently doing, it's also about surrounding yourself with the things that make you feel comfortable. For some people, a comfortable space is snuggled up in their bed. For the next person, it could be a park or the gym. Whatever that space is that makes you feel completely safe, that's where you need to be. We need to get into a space that doesn't trigger our nervous systems, a place where we can let go and relax. And this is self-care at the highest level because you're literally putting yourself in a position to heal. You're changing your environment so that you can change the outcome. And that is amazing. The next thing you need to do is you need to isolate yourself. Now that you're in the safe space, you need to take a break from the world. And don't worry, it won't be anything permanent. To be honest, most of your friends and family probably won't even notice. But a break does need to take place. When isolating yourself, you need to limit your social interactions. While most interactions can be stimulating and energizing, a lot of them can leave you feeling depleted, especially when your social battery is already drained. So in order to recharge yourself, you need to limit your social interactions and spend time alone. How much you're able to limit your social interactions will vary from person to person. If you have a lot of responsibilities at work, like a CEO or president position, it can be really difficult to limit social interactions entirely. The same is true for personal responsibilities, like if you're a parent or if you're in a relationship. In these cases, some communication and interaction are needed, but you do need to communicate that you will be taking a step back, or you need to communicate what you'll be doing with your day so that if they do try to reach out to you and can't get you, they know why. This can be very effective and allows you to reclaim your time. You also need to limit screen time. A lot of us already spend too much time on our phones, but during times when you're burnt out, you really need to get strict about this. While scrolling social media may seem like a passive activity, you're actually expending a lot of energy. Your brain is processing loads of information at a time, and it doesn't help that oftentimes the information presented is negative. So you need to protect your energy and give yourself the needed break. If you are going to do screen time, opt for longer form content. Watch a comedy or a romantic movie. This is a more relaxing activity. You really want to spend this time connecting with yourself. If you're experiencing burnout, chances are you've neglected yourself in some way. To recover from burnout, you need to figure out what you've been neglecting. Maybe you've been neglecting your sleep and you haven't been getting enough of it. Or maybe you've been neglecting your diet and you haven't been eating well. Over time, these choices add up until your body can't overcompensate for them anymore. So spend this time reconnecting with yourself and getting back on track. The next thing you need to do is you need to get quality sleep. Having a good sleep life is the foundation for having a happy, successful waking life. So it's important for you to prioritize it. And if you aren't, start today. Take the time to unwind before bed. If you are a high performer, typically you are going all day. From the moment you wake to the moment you're back in bed, your brain is fully activated. And while that's great because you can get a lot done in a day, when it comes time to rest, your brain doesn't know how to turn off. And so instead of getting quality sleep, you toss and turn in bed for the next hour. And this just isn't healthy. So the solution to this is to practice unwinding before bed. You need to develop a type of routine. Eventually, this routine will train your brain to prepare itself to rest. For instance, every night at 9 p.m., you drink a cup of chamomile or peppermint tea. And then at 9:30, you get into bed and read a novel for 30 minutes. And then by 10 p.m., it's lights out and it's bedtime. If you stick to this schedule, before you know it, it'll become second nature. And getting to bed will be far easier. Now, the example that I gave you is definitely in a perfect world because I can't even recall the last time I made it into bed by 10 p.m. I just want to be fully transparent and honest here. But that is a goal of mine, so I will be taking my own advice and putting this routine in play. And when it comes to quality sleep, you need to listen to your body. Oddly enough, sleep has become a controversial topic. Some people argue that we need 8 hours of sleep. Some people say 7 is enough. Some people say that they get by with 4 hours of sleep and no more. And then you have the 4-hour people arguing with the 8-hour people. It's insane. This is why you need to listen to your body. While it's important to have a schedule and routine, each and every day is different. And so your body will need different things on different days. If you typically sleep for 6 hours, but you wake up after the 6 hours feeling tired and you have more time to spare, then go ahead and go back to sleep. I truly believe there's just too much guilt around sleeping in general. Society is beginning to equate sleep with laziness when that just is not the case. Laziness is laziness. And if your body needs to rest, then you should let it rest. Because who you are when you get your rest is what's most important. It's all about how you perform and how you show up with the hours that you are awake. Personally, I'm willing to spare those 2 hours of the day because I know that the brain power that I have when I wake up is unmatched. It's all about the level that you're able to execute at. So whatever you need to do to get there, do that. Do low dopamine activities. Low dopamine activities are tasks and habits that minimize immediate rewards and dopamine spikes, promoting a state of focus and mental engagement. Reading is a low dopamine activity. Instead of the immediate gratification of social media, reading allows you to get lost in the narrative. I personally love reading at the start of my day. I think it's a great way to turn my brain on and heighten my focus. After breakfast, I'll typically read a self-help book for 20 or 30 minutes. Afterwards, I'll read some type of article. And I've recently become fascinated with history, so I'll do a bit of research as well. And I've noticed on days where I do a ton of reading, my brain is engaged yet relaxed. It's easier for me to synthesize information, which means I can get more done, which is really cool. Another low dopamine activity is creating art. I love coloring and I try to do it as much as possible. There's just something so calming about adding color to a picture. I also like to draw. I think it's so relaxing to be creative in this way and just kind of go with the flow. And I put no pressure on myself. I literally just do it for fun. And I think that's a really important point for these activities. Remember what they're for. You don't need to do these activities to excel at something. If you happen to, great, but it's just purely for fun. But if you need to feel a sense of accomplishment, then cleaning or organizing is a low dopamine activity that can provide this. I know some people don't like to clean, but I personally love it. I just find it so satisfying. You really get to transform a space, and it can be a great way to take your mind off things. And the benefit is when you're done, you get a clean home. You can't be mad at that. And the best way to recover from burnout is to prevent burnout. You do not need to regularly experience burnout. There is no reason for this. There are ways that you can manage your responsibilities and stress. And one of the best ways to do that is to set boundaries. Regardless of what your responsibilities are, there's you and then there's the responsibility. How much or how little space you put between you and your responsibilities is entirely up to you. But it is my recommendation that you put as much space as possible. Reason being is it gives you more protection. You're better able to protect your emotional and mental health when you do things this way. And it also gives you more control because you're able to deal with your responsibilities without being consumed by them. So understand that you have the right to set boundaries, whether at work, with family, or in your relationship. You get to determine how much or how little you will engage with it and on what terms. There's a million ways to do things. You can take care of your responsibilities while keeping your boundaries intact. Having a work-life balance helps you do this. While I don't think that there's a universal work-life balance, I do think that every person can find one. Every person knows what's important to them and what's not, what they're willing to sacrifice and what they aren't. And so finding the balance exists between this. It does take a bit of intention and effort to live your life this way, but it's worth it. And it can really limit or eliminate the burnouts you have going forward. It takes being mindful. If you're going to prevent burnouts, then you need to be mindful of your actions, because what you do will inevitably determine how you feel. And if you're constantly neglecting yourself and your needs, then you will feel neglected. So you need to be mindful of how you're treating yourself. And you need to have the wisdom to put yourself first, regardless of whatever's going on in your life. Because once you're taken care of, you can take care of everything else. If you're feeling burnt out, I want you to know that it does get better. Take the tips that I've given you in this video and apply it to your life. Be patient with yourself and take things one day at a time. You got this. What's one thing that you're going to do to prevent burnout? Share it in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Be sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you become a part of the family. Recovering from burnout is one way to take care of yourself, but there's so much more to learn on your glow up journey. So watch this video to continue leveling up. Okay, my loves. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. Bye.